Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. Today we are working with this sketch from Iris Fox, who is Whimsy Fox on a lot of her social media. And for me, this was a little bit of a difficult one to get my head around. And I think that's because the pie pieces on there look like they're kind of exploding outward. And um, my style, it just is, I think, a little more tight than that, if you will. I don't know if even the right way to describe it, but I did have a hard time wrapping my head around it. So I was chatting with one of the other gals that is doing 30 Days of Sketches, and we were on Zoom in a group, and she suggested using a cut file. So I opened up my computer and opened up my Silhouette software and created this wheel type design. Now, I know there are like cut files, like Chamel had one in one of her collections that had kind of something similar, not exactly pie pieces, but a similar shape. And I probably could have found something similar online, but I didn't want to really spend the time searching, so I just quickly created this one. And I really like how this came out. So what I ended up doing, as you see there, I pulled out my watercolors, and I am using watercolor paper. This is fluid. It's fluid watercolor paper. It's a cold press, 140 pound, and it's in 12 by 12, and it's my favorite watercolor paper for scrapbooking because it's good quality, and I've never had any problems with it. It just works really well, and you can buy it in a block. It comes with like 15 sheets, and it's bound on two edges, and I found it on Amazon of all places. So I highly recommend it. And then I'm just using my Gonzai Tambi, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but watercolors. So those are also from Amazon, and they're around, I don't know, about $40, maybe a little bit less. And so they are pretty cost effective for what you get as well. And so I have a photo of my mom holding my grandson on Mother's Day, the year he was born, or the first Mother's Day that he was around. He was born in October, so the following Mother's Day. And he is wearing like navy blue and kind of a rust color pants, and then a navy blue top, and then she has this purple color on. So that is why I chose the colors that I chose for this particular layout. Now, what I did is I just set that cut file down and I traced the areas, and I've done this several times in my scrapbooking before, and I have other videos that show kind of how to do this as well. But I just basically trace it, and then you do want to go a little bit outside the lines, which is really hard for me, surprisingly, because um, I'm so used to coloring inside the lines all my life, but you actually want to go a little bit outside the lines, and I almost kind of forgot to do that in a couple of these as I was going and adding the ink or the watercolor, but you want to do that so that it extends fully underneath the cut file. Now, if you're not going to put the cut file down, that's a different story, but if you're putting the cut file down, you definitely want to go all the way underneath it and not have little white lines showing. Although in watercolor it is totally acceptable to have white spots, and that is not a problem. It just adds to the dimension and the layers, and it looks really cool. And what you saw me doing there with my acrylic block, I just am using that to mix the color because I don't have the right color of orange. I needed it to be a little bit darker than the orange that comes with my set. So I added a little bit of red and yellow together and made it a little darker than what is in the actual palette. And then as I'm watercoloring, I'm starting with the darker color towards the center, and as I pull it out, I am just tapping it into the water, tapping it onto my paper towel that's in my hand, and then dragging the color out. And then you can see about the third or fourth time I dip it in the water, I start on the outside edge and start dragging the color back in towards the middle. And that kind of gives you a really nice gradient. It's been a process that's working for me, so that's the way I've been doing it. I am trying to erase the watercolor there on the edge using my sand eraser, and then I remembered it's watercolor. Hello, I could just wet it and then sop it up with the paper towel because I got a little bit on the edge, so that is not a problem. It's pretty easy to clean up, and I really like how that looks. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm adding the cut file over the top, and the triangles in there are not perfect, so I definitely had to spin it around and find which ones fit in which spot, because they're slightly different in a couple of sizes, or a couple of the areas. So then I'm just going over each area and I'm splattering the like color on top of it, so purple on purple, orange on orange, and the blue on blue. And I like how that looks, and I don't mind that some of it's outside of the cut file. I think that just adds to the texture, but I really like the clean look of this, and I'm really happy with the way that it came out. And I just cut that cut file on black Recollections paper from Michaels. It seems to work well for me, so that's what I am using. I shout out to my friend Janie who suggested it because I was looking for a good black, and I think the black that I had ordered was the wrong weight. It was too thick, and I was having trouble with it, so that might be the problem I was having prior. And so Janie recommended just try the Recollections one. It works for me, so I thought I'll do that. And so thank you, Janie, for that recommendation. Works great. So I just backed those two photos in black, and I really like how that looks. It's just going to complete everything. And then I'm cutting the edges off of the watercolor paper, and I'm using the leftover piece from the cut file as a frame for the entire layout, so it has a black border all the way around it. I really like the repetition of the black around the outside, the black around the cut file, the black around the photos. Now, off camera, I practiced with my watercolors, and I wrote the word mothers in a scripty font. That is my own handwriting. I don't typically write with watercolor on watercolor paper, so it takes me a little bit of time and a little bit of practice, and I apologize that I did not catch it on film. I was off camera, and if you can see there, my camera is somehow it has been jostled, so you're getting more of the top of my desk than the bottom of my desk. So I apologize that I'm off camera there. I was off camera when I was writing the word as well, and I did not realize it, so I did not actually get that filmed for you. So my sincere apologies for that. But I basically just used the purple watercolor that is on that acrylic block, and I used a paintbrush, the same paintbrush that I painted all of those triangles with, to write the word. And it took me several tries, but I finally got it to the right size, because I have a tendency to write it much larger than I need to. And I do hand lettering, but I normally do it on my iPad with an Apple Pencil, which is pressure sensitive, so it's a little bit different feel, and so that's why it takes me a little bit more practice. Now I have these stickers from Pink Fresh Studio, and I really like them. The color is a really good match for that blue, and the purple in it is also a really good match for the purple. So I'm kind of like pulling those colors out, and I really enjoy the way that this ends up coming out. It was completely unexpected. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this sketch, but once Virginia, who I was Zooming with, suggested it to use a cut file, then I knew exactly what I would do. So thank you, Virginia, for the suggestion. Thanks for making my layout for me. So that top sticker that I'm playing with right there, it says, "You are my greatest adventure." And then the one that looks like a sideways diamond says, "Celebrate today." And then the one that is down by the word day says, "Small things, great love." And there is a little banner one below that that is off screen. Again, my apologies. It says "Happy Little Moments," and one below that will say "Enjoy the Little Things." And then the one right above the photo on the left says, "Thanks for making everything around me beautiful." I just thought those were really beautiful sentiments. They worked well for having a little guy. They worked well for being Mother's Day. So there's not a lot of journaling on this. I am just going to basically write that it's Noah and great grandma and the date, and I'm just writing it underneath where it says Mother's Day, Mothers, kind of in that blue section under the O. And I don't know if I captured that on screen actually, but that's where it's going to go. It's very, very simple. And sometimes simple is really good. It's just very, um, it's easier and it's just fun. So go check out all the other ladies that are playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life. And the links are going to be in my description box down below. So you can just hop on over to their channels and check it out. Today is day 8, and Christy will definitely have a video. I am hoping to have videos throughout the month, so you can come back and visit my channel as well. I'm going to add a few enamel dots here. I am adding purple, the navy blue, and white, and I just like how those look. It's all colors that are on this layout already, and I think it just finishes it off really nicely. I'm going to put the link to Christy's Facebook group in my description box down below. If you would like to follow along and create along with us, and you can have a place to share your layouts. And in that same group, she has the previous 6 rounds of this series listed in albums. So you can go to the albums and find those sketches, and you can actually use those sketches for inspiration and post in those albums as well. So I will put that link down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really, really appreciate it. The close-ups are coming up here in just a few moments. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. So here come the close-ups. Thanks again for spending time with me. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.